Well, one of the things that I and it hasn't been talked about much, I'm glad you brought it up though, is that there's been a push to do away with standardized tests for years. I mean, ever since I started in 1981, there are books like None of the Above by the New Yorker writer David Owen. They're challenging the veracity of the SAT and showing, statistically how it favors wealthy students over poor students. And that was like in the 1980s, and now we're starting to see like University of California, Stanford University, and some other, big systems are now saying they don't want the SATs. They're not, they're actually going to start trusting what the teachers are saying about the students, and reading through their transcripts more and recommendations, and I think that that's something that is positive, but I'm not sure how, and again, I'm not sure how much that has to do with the pandemic, but on the other hand, you can't take a standardized test fairly, as we know as unschoolers, if you're not prepping and studying the exact material that they're going to test you on. And so that whole construct of testing is I think finally getting challenged. I mean, you do want to do tests, to see if people can do things so that you can help them do them better. That makes sense, but this idea that you're going to do tests to somehow like a 3-hour bubble test like the SAT is, and then somehow you're going to uncover like this deep knowledge about their brains that shows, oh, well, they're not worthy for an Ivy League school, so send them to they could go to a community college instead. I mean, I really feel that is changing now, that has kind of hit its limit. And with the pandemic, now that everyone's, the whole curriculum, the whole conveyor belt of schedule is off, it's another reason they have to knock these tests off, because they're all, you teach to the test, and now they can't teach to the test because everyone is dispersed and out in the classroom. So I do think that we'll see more of a performance based evaluation system. I would like to see that, but at the same time, I never doubt the powers of the establishment and of money that are completely tied up in keeping the status quo. Even though, as we know, as unschoolers and homeschoolers, you get into college, you can find work worth doing with non-traditional degrees. And even without a college degree, if you're good enough at something, and persistent, people will hire you. But we've just got this idea of, I mean, you were talking about like the security. And I think that's something that parents get. They see this degree, they see this grade from a standardized test, and they say, so you did learn this, you can do this. Well, I forget where, I mean, it was a couple of years ago, but there was a study done that said, would you take the SAT again of adults? And something like 90% of them said, absolutely no way. And like, who even remembers 80% or more of what they had to study for these tests? But what we do remember, the things we use every day, For me as a writer, sure, punctuation and grammar are very important. So I've always, continued to pay attention and learn about that. And for kids, it's probably, the projects that they do, helping out around the house, helping out, with stuff that is meaningful to them, building with Legos and other things that, that give them all the information that they're trying to get about, how do I do this? How do I make this thing stand correctly? And then there's plenty of time to discuss like gravity and, and stuff like that have an effect on these things. We don't have to just nail it all at once in the classroom, because when you're learning all the time, we tend to pick it up in bits and pieces. And then sometimes we do the big gulp. We're ready, but only when we're ready for it, but schools are like, every day is a big gulp,